feel their pain. The truth is out, the case is closed, but our search for justice never slows.
Hey guys, happy Tuesday. It's been a while. I took a week off from YouTube, and I will say it was nice. I got some other things done that I had been ignoring, but it's nice to be back. So thanks everyone for being here. Thanks, Josh. I appreciate that. I agree. It's super sad. And I had just happened upon a news clip of it on YouTube. It must have been, today's Tuesday, Sunday night. And so just, seeing the surveillance of this, I'm going to say accident, it's just terrifying, for lack of a better word. And they do have the full surveillance, but I'm just going to show what they had on the news. There are some eyewitness accounts that I have, and then also there was a family of 3 that were severely injured, and one of them is still in the hospital. But I did see an article that several of those who were injured have been released from the hospital. Unfortunately, 4 people, 3 in the same family, were killed. And I just, I'm going to keep some of my thoughts to myself just because I want to present everything first. But I just don't understand how you can't see stopped traffic. And to not slow down is just mind-boggling. I get there's accidents. Sometimes, traffic stops quick. I've been in those situations, especially on the highway. But this was, I don't know. The driver of the semi that caused this tragedy was severely burned. He did survive. So we'll just have to see what happens going forward. I also have a couple of other stories, 3 other stories that we'll talk about at the end. 2 of them are good stories, like feel-good stories. One about a dog, and I had meant to get to them last week, and I didn't get to them. So we're going to talk about them today. So thanks everyone again for being here. Amax, Sinner, Karma, Shaylee, you're definitely welcome here. Wise Mom. I said hi to Josh. Steph B, hope the parents are well. Good to see you. So we're going to get started. Hey, Hindsights, how are you? So again, this took place near Lansing, Michigan on Interstate 96.
Hi, I'm Faraz Javed for 7 News Detroit. 4 people are dead, 17 are injured after a semi-trailer truck crashed into backed-up traffic. This happened just before midnight Saturday on I-96 westbound. I'm standing right before the M52 intersection, and that's where it happened. What you can see right behind me is Michigan State Police investigating the crash as well as the cleanup efforts taking place. The wreckage included 15 vehicles, including the semi.
So 15 vehicles. Here's the semi. What's left of it. And the fact that the driver survived is incredible to me, because looking at the wreckage, it doesn't seem like anyone should have survived that. Especially when we see, I believe it's this clip, they show the initial impact of the semi hitting the stop traffic. Although I don't think I believe it was stopped, but it had just began to start moving again. So a lot of the articles had said stop traffic, but at the press conference, they had said, law enforcement had said that traffic had just started moving again. They were bringing power lines across the highway. So they had stopped traffic to do that. Hey, Narcos, thanks for stopping by. I agree, Karma, definitely. And it's a great story at the end I have.
My trailer truck. These images show some of the damaged cars and SUVs we saw being.
And I hate to stop it so quickly. I'll rewind back. What this is reminiscent of is there was an accident in, I believe it was Fort Worth, Texas. It was during an ice storm, and people just couldn't stop. And several semis had gone over cars that were caught up in the pileup. This reminds me of what happened there. And I think when you see the surveillance, if you remember that crash in Fort Worth, you'll understand what I mean.
Truck. These images show some of the damaged cars and SUVs we saw being towed away. The aftermath only adds to one's imagination of what happened Saturday night.
When I got here, they had eastbound and westbound shut down. They had under the overpass shut down.
Justin McCullum works at the gas station next to the intersection. Justin showed me the security footage. At 11:41 p.m., you can see the fireball explosion rolling down westbound on I-96.
We had Stockbridge coming out. We had Williamston, Bath, Fowlerville responded. Weberville responded.
Michigan State Police's 1st District Lieutenant Renee Gonzalez says moments before the crash, a few MSP units had closed the freeway for 15 minutes so that DTE workers could pull power lines across the freeway.
We had just reopened the freeway and it was westbound I-96. And at this time, traffic was just starting to move again. It was a little bit backed up. And we had a semi that was also traveling westbound. It had a trailer on it. Came up upon the group of vehicles. It appears that he didn't see the backup, couldn't stop in time, and drove into the group.
And based on that video, and again, this is pure speculation. This is just an observation that I'm making from that video. In my opinion, that driver did not have time to try to stop. That semi, like I said in my thumbnail, that semi plowed through the traffic. Like, just, you could see as the semi moved, so did the fireball.
Group of vehicles. That caused a huge collision with a group of vehicles, an explosion, and vehicles catching on fire.
Of the 4 killed, 3 people were traveling in the same car, all related from Lansing. A 46-year-old man along with 2 women, 20 and 33-year-olds. The 4th victim, a 29-year-old man, was from Carson City. Meanwhile, the 17 injured were rushed to Sparrow Hospital and McLaren Hospital in serious condition.
The semi-truck driver was injured in the crash, as well as burns.
Lieutenant Gonzalez says the semi-trailer truck, which was carrying produce, was completely burned and crushed in the crash. Is it normal for power lines to be pulled across expressways in the middle of the night?
It's the best time to do it because the traffic is minimal at that time.
That makes sense.
As the investigation continues, this father of 3 can begin to imagine how many lives will be impacted by the crash.
There's some family today that are going to be traumatized for the rest of their lives because of what happened today.
MSP also says after the cleanup, MDOT engineers will check the bridge for structural integrity, which will require time. Hence, Monday morning commuters may have to find an alternate route as the section of the road may be closed. In Weberville, I'm Faraz Javed, 7 News Detroit.
Hey, Remy, how are you? So just, I mean, horrifying scene, especially for first responders and, you know, others who may have not been injured in this. But it's just terrifying. Hey, Nini. When I lived in Michigan, I hated the interstate system. People call it the Michigan Autobahn, run 120 or get run over. I feel like a lot of interstates are like that. I had mentioned, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, I had an appointment and I had to take Interstate 90 to get there. And it was either go with traffic or, like you said, get run over. So there were times where I was going upwards of 80 miles an hour in a 55, because if I was going 60 miles an hour, I would have gotten probably rear-ended. You got to go with the flow. Hey, Be Real, thanks for stopping in.
I'm your Fox 47 neighborhood reporter, Will Mink, here in Weberville, where a tragic incident took place at around midnight on Saturday. Here's what we know.
I've never seen an accident like that before.
A fiery crash that killed 4 and seriously injured more than a dozen others late Saturday night near Weberville.
You don't ever think something like that is going to happen. You know what I mean?
Oh, no.
And like for them to just be at a standstill, it's just, it can happen to you anytime, any place.
According to Michigan State Police, I-96 westbound at M52 was shut down while DTE crews worked to string power lines across the highway.
Hey, Silent Angel, this was just outside Lansing, Michigan. So it was, I'll say east. I think it was more southeast from Lansing, but right on Interstate 96. Hey, Fruit Loops, thanks for being here.
Traffic was backed up when, according to police, a semi-truck crashed into stopped vehicles. This security footage I obtained from the mobile Weberville service station shows the moment of impact.
And then as we got closer, we start seeing fire.
Police say the semi-truck driver did not see the stopped cars on the interstate. The result, a fiery scene and utter destruction.
Around 96
and 43.
And 43.
Brianna Barnhart took this video as she passed the accident.
It was really sad. There's really not words to describe how you feel, It's stuck in my head.
She says she was stuck in standstill traffic for 15 minutes before coming across the scene as flares were laid.
First responders were by the cars, and it looked like they were trying to get into the cars. And then you could see the semi, but it wasn't even a semi anymore. It was just the frame of the semi. And then it looked like there were like 4 or 5 cars on fire.
As daylight broke, crews worked to clear the chaos and begin their investigation. 3 Lansing residents were killed in the crash: a 20-year-old female, a 43-year-old female, and a 47-year-old male, all from Lansing.
That's interesting. That's different than the last news clip we saw. So 47, 43, and 20. The earlier clip had said 46, 20, and 33. So, yeah. To me, that seems like, just speculating, but husband, wife, child, based on the ages. An entire family wiped out.
Investigators say they're related. A 29-year-old male from Carson City was also killed in the crash, according to MSP. Police say the semi-truck driver was among the 17 injured taken to local hospitals. The expressway was shut down for about 18 hours while police pieced together evidence and MDOT officials examined the overpass at M52. The roadway was reopened around 6 p.m. Sunday. In Weberville, I'm Willamink, Fox 47 News.
Yeah, and just, seeing that surveillance, I agree. They didn't stop. They didn't see the traffic stopped, which is why they didn't stop. They just, they barreled right into it. Steph B, got to feed the feral kitties. I actually rescued, there was, just a little side note. There was a very pregnant cat, young cat. She was maybe just over a year old. And I was trying to trap her and she was being very elusive. I ended up getting a possum instead of the cat I wanted. But long story short, I was able to get her on Sunday morning. So she is now safe with a foster. And when she has her babies, if she's not able to be socialized she will be spayed and she will be released back to my area where, you know, she has her friends, or possibly, you know, a barn. But I'm just really happy that I was able to get her before winter. And so now there's a new one that showed up, a tortie, who's absolutely gorgeous. She's next. I'm going to get her next, but just a little side note. Hey, MK, how are you? Hey, Team Brit, long time no see. Long time no see. Oh gosh, Silent Angel, that's so sad. I lost one cousin in Michigan a few years ago on the road telegraph in Michigan. Hey, Okie, how are you? Good to see you. All right, let's go to... So this next one was from... Today's the 5th. So this was from the 3rd. So that would have been Sunday.
All right, now to new information we're learning into the crash on I-96 that killed 4 people and left 17 others injured.
Happened late Saturday night near Weberville in Ingham County when a semi...
Okay, so this, I'm assuming this is the semi, because you can see the back of the, I would assume this is the back of the trailer. I mean, Jesus.
Slammed into traffic, stopped on the freeway. Victor Williams has been working to get answers on what happened. And Victor, that's been a challenge because there's still a lot of questions about how this happened.
Remy, correct. That is what law enforcement believes, is that traffic had been stopped so that power lines could be brought over the interstate. So police had stopped traffic and for about 15 minutes, and they had just started to let traffic begin moving again, but the traffic, I would assume the traffic that was hit was still at a standstill. And based on the video, the surveillance from a gas station, it's my opinion that he did not stop. It appeared he literally drove over the stopped cars.
Oh, yeah, a whole lot of questions, and we've been trying to find those answers all day. A lot of it is what was caught on camera on surveillance video right here at a nearby gas station that shows that entire explosion right here on I-96. Out of respect for the deceased, we're not showing that, but still a very scary time for anyone out there on the road.
There was a fire like I had never seen before, and it was just a really terrifying scene.
A semi-truck ends up crashing into a line of cars that were slowly passing by a construction project.
And there were 15 cars affected by this. 15 cars. 4 were killed, 17 injured.
And bumper-to-bumper traffic, leaving 4 dead and 17 others injured. Katie Marshall shot the aftermath of the crash when the semi and other trucks were in flames. We're only showing you these still images because the video is just too graphic.
You could hear the tires exploding on one of the trucks. You could feel the heat of the fire on your face.
The interstate had just been reopened after being closed for power line work, yet somehow the driver of the semi didn't realize traffic was building up. The explosion of the impact so intense that charred remains are all that's left of the semi and several other vehicles. I was just thinking too, the fact that traffic underneath this overpass, if there was traffic, that none of this went over the bridge onto the lower roadway. Clearly those guide rails are working. Oh, is Just Jake here? Oh, I'm on all messages. Why don't I see her?
I don't see you, Just Jake, but thanks for being here. I'm on all messages. Let me just, YouTube has been wacky lately. I'm not able to like videos. It gives me some error message. So I guess, oh, there's Just Jake. There, now I see you.
Vehicles. In total, 2 women and 1 man from Lansing ended up passing away, ages 20, 43, and 47. There's also a 4th victim from Carson City, Michigan.
Wait, so now he just said, hold on. I just want to listen to that again because I think he just said 23, 43, and 47.
There's also a 4th victim from Carson City, Michigan that ended up passing away as well.
Yeah, 20. Oh,
It's heartbreaking.
20. Okay, so
Truly, I can't imagine what the families are going through right now.
We've been making phone calls all day trying to figure out if the driver of that semi will face any charges. All of that remains under investigation at this point in time.
To hear that that was the cause of the accident, that there was no fuel hauler involved, it was just, from what I recall, a banana truck. It was just really astonishing to hear and just heartbreaking.
Now, everyone that was seriously injured, with the exception of 2 people, have been released from the hospital. We're also told that the semi-truck driver is still in the hospital as well. In Weberville, Victor Williams.
Oh, such a catastrophic wreck. All right, Victor.
Agree. I mean, catastrophic is a good way to put it, for sure. So for those of you just coming in, thank you so much for being here. This happened just, I would say, southeast of Lansing, Michigan on Interstate 96. And as we just heard, 4 people were killed, 17 injured. A total of 15 cars were impacted. And, you know, they raised the question of whether or not the driver would face any charges. In my opinion, unless it was a medical emergency or something out of his control, I believe that some type of charge should happen because they weren't aware of what was happening. And I, you know, that's how I feel. Sinner, thank you so much. Where did it go? For this super sticker. You did not have to do that, but I appreciate it. It's, what is it? A lemon, and is that a lime? It's hard to tell. Or a green apple? I'm not exactly sure what it is, but it's cute. Hey Esther, thanks for being here.
All right, now to new information we're learning into the crash on I-96 that killed 4 people and left 17 others injured.
Happened late Saturday night near Weberville in Ingham County when a semi slammed into traffic, stopped on the freeway. Victor Williams.
Stop. Sorry, forgot to change my slide. I got distracted. Oh, a lime. I mean, limes aren't that much smaller than lemons, so that's why I was like, what is happening there?
The traffic was very light up until that point, and I was just driving along, and I came around a curve and seen all the fire in the sky, basically.
So this guy saying he came around a curve, which I don't know this stretch of highway, but depending on how far from the curve, is it possible the driver didn't have, like, by the time he saw the traffic, it was too late because it had been, you know, just in that area where you wouldn't be able to stop? That I don't know.
And I didn't ever suspect it would be like a semi with 15 cars. I didn't know what it was, but I didn't think it would be something so tragic.
4 killed, 17 others injured in a fiery crash on Interstate 96 east of Lansing. Michigan State Police say a semi-truck driver was unable to stop for backed-up traffic, hitting several cars that caught fire. 3 relatives from Lansing lost their lives, along with the man from Carson City. On Monday, the West.
So I just noted the last news clip that we watched, out of respect for the victims, did not show the raw footage, yet this newscast did. I find it interesting how things are different dependent on, what news affiliate you're watching.
Michigan community is still grieving the tragedy.
It's very sad to think about.
Joe Bogue was driving home on I-96 when he saw the crash and captured video.
I didn't even consider that until later on that night, exactly how lucky I was to be 10 minutes later. Then, yes, I could have very well been in that.
Several families and marching band participants were driving home from a state final in Detroit. 2 Northview High School students were injured and a trailer was damaged. The school's deputy superintendent released a partial statement today, reading, "While we are grateful that nobody from the school district was seriously injured, 2 students were hospitalized and released in the morning. Our hearts go out to those families and friends who were impacted by the accident. Our school counselors are available to provide support to students and families who may be struggling with the accident." And for the full statement from Northview High School, click on the story on woodtv.com.
Just Jake, I believe I have a current news topic for you. Oh, yeah, just email me, headstonesandheadlines@gmail.com. And that's for anybody. If you have a story that you think I might find interesting or you want me to cover, send me an email and I will add it to my list. Oh, thank you, AMAC, for posting that. So we are going to move to an article that talks about those who were injured have been released from the hospital, several of them. And actually, this says 21 people were injured. Unless they're including those who did not survive as part of the injured. AMAC, thanks so much for being a member for 15 months. I appreciate it. So, at least 17 of the 21 people injured in Saturday night's fiery crash on I-96 near Weberville have been released from the hospital. This number of injured people has risen since the initial reporting. Okay, so it was 21 total injured, which is a lot. A spokesman for McLaren Greater Lansing Hospital in Lansing confirmed the release of 9 patients this morning. And this was from yesterday. So yesterday. Of the 12 people taken to the University of Michigan Health Sparrow in Lansing, staff has released 8 of them. 1 person remains in critical condition and 2 others are in fair condition at Health Sparrow. Another 2 people walked in for treatment Sunday, saying they were also injured in the crash. Michigan State Police also confirmed one of those injured was the driver of the semi-truck who was initially taken to Lansing but transferred to Health in Ann Arbor. The crash happened around 11:40 p.m. on I-96 near the M52 overpass when a semi-truck driver was unable to stop his vehicle for upcoming backed-up traffic, hitting several vehicles and caught fire. The crash killed 4 people and injured at least 21. In all, police said 15 vehicles were involved. The other people injured were taken to the University of Michigan Health Sparrow Hospital in Lansing. At this time, it is not known how many are still in the hospital or their conditions. Michigan State Police said the driver of the semi-truck who hit the other vehicles was taken to the University of Michigan Hospital in Ann Arbor for treatment of his injuries. Killed in the crash was a 29-year-old male from Carson City who was driving a Ford F-150 pickup, Michigan State Police said on social media. Also killed in the crash were a 20-year-old female, a 43-year-old female, and a 47-year-old male, all from Lansing. The victims were in a Chevy Trax and were related. Michigan Department of Transportation crews inspected the I-96 westbound overpass Sunday and reopened both the interstate and M52 Sunday night. Oh, and that was it. All right, so I have one more video related to this, and then we'll get into a couple of other stories. Oh yeah, Sinner, good. I was just going to actually suggest that you can always leave a comment on the live when it ends. Yep, that works too.
It was right behind me here on I-96 that a devastating car crash involving 15 vehicles took the lives of 4 people. 17 others survived, and among them is the Van Horn family. Here's their story of survival.
All I remember is I had texted our 16-year-old who was in the band competition.
Saturday evening, Kim Van Horn, her husband Sam, and their 18-year-old son Alex took this picture from Ford Field. From Mount Pleasant, they were in Detroit volunteering at Alex's brother's band competition. On their way home afterwards, their lives would change forever.
We remember fire and we remember screaming for each other's names.
Around 11:42 that night, Michigan State Police say a semi-truck with a trailer came up on stop traffic here along I-96 in Weberville. Police say the semi didn't see the backup. It didn't stop in time, and it created this fiery 15-vehicle crash. Kim, Sam, and Alex were in one of those cars. None of them.
Oh my God. Thank you, SoFlo, for gifting a membership. Just Jake. Congratulations. Welcome to the Stoners. Oh my God. And so looking at their car, like I wouldn't think anyone would be able to survive that. Jesus.
Remember the initial impact.
The next thing I know, I woke up and I had my head to the left, and I remember feeling like a big rush over my head. And then I looked up and saw a lot of fire, and I remember screaming help, and I couldn't find my husband. And I could hear my son screaming that he couldn't get out.
4 people were killed and 17 injured.
My husband was in the ditch, and he doesn't remember how he got there. A police officer brought him to me, and I remember hugging him, and I remember hugging my son, and my son had blood all over his face.
The Van Horns had this photo taken of them
my
at Sparrow
God.
Hospital a day after the crash. Kim and I talked on the phone as she's still recovering from her injuries. As of Monday evening, the driver of the semi and Kim's husband Sam remain in the hospital. Sam suffering from a traumatic brain injury, and
He has possible broken neck, multiple broken ribs, a lung contusion, possible spine injury.
Kim's sister has started this GoFundMe for the Van Horns.
And I do have a link to this GoFundMe in the description of this live if anyone is interested in donating. If not, you can always share. Sharing is also, appreciated. But I still that car, I mean, and her, her husband ending up in the ditch. The force of that impact, just, it's a miracle that they're alive. Thank you, SoFlo. I didn't see that. Thank you for gifting another membership. MK, welcome. I know, Silent Angel. Very true. Glad they are alive, but sad what all these families have to go through. Yeah. And the people that witnessed it, the people that, I mean, like that one woman that they interviewed, she just happened, she had to drive past it, and, it's traumatic for anyone, I think.
Tells me the family wasn't sure how they would make ends meet while they recovered, but already they are astounded with the community's generosity.
The band community, the state of Michigan, I can't even describe like how overwhelmed support that we have from all of them. It's been amazing.
And as you can see, I-96 is open once again this week. MSP posted on X asking drivers to please remember to take it easy. In Weberville, Sarah Michaels, 7 News Detroit.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing that, I mean, this guy is alive. I mean, there's no other words for it. So I did look before I went live. I did look to see if there were any updates and regarding the driver or any pending charges. I wasn't able to find anything. So at this point, it appears that police are still investigating and trying to find out what happened. Oh, and Steph, I just saw your comment. Now that is actually an important thing to donate to. There is a story I'm going to show. We're going to change gears. But there is a story. I had shared it on my community page, but for those of you who have been with me for my case lives, I have been following the Impact Plastics event, I guess I'll call it, where employees, in my opinion, were not allowed to leave in a reasonable amount of time before they were trapped by floodwaters in Irwin, Tennessee. They did find the last missing employee from Impact. And I didn't add that to my list, but I am going to stop it. YouTube, stop it, please. I went to the wrong spot. YouTube, I think YouTube updated because I noticed on my phone, if I go to speed something up, I have this menu on the bottom now. And I think that's why it's been messing up where I can't lives. It gives me some error. It's if you're going to update, make sure all the bugs are out, YouTube. All right, let's see. Where is she? Maybe I didn't save it. Dang it. All right. I thought it was in my watch later, but I guess not. So let me... Sorry, y'all. Here it is. 33 days. 33 days. And this was from October 31st. October 31st. Rosa was finally located. All right, so let me just back this up.
New tonight, 33 days. That's how long it took for the family of a factory employee to get answers on where their loved one could be after deadly flooding. Search and rescue crews have officially recovered the last missing body from Unicoi County. First responders confirmed the body's DNA is linked to an Impact Plastics employee. Reporter Maria Guzman is following our coverage in Unicoi County. She shares more about who that victim is and what's next on the road to recovery now. Maria.
Yes, Katie, the county Search and Rescue confirms with us the body they recovered is 29-year-old Rosa Andrade. Rosa is one of the Impact Plastic employees who were caught by the rushing water. She's also one of the 6 employees whose body are now recovered. Her body was recovered Wednesday and ID'd today. First responders say her body was located towards the side of I-26. That's just off the Nolichucky River in Impact Plastics area. According to Search and Rescue, her body was located as workers were cleaning debris.
Oh my gosh, Steph, are you kidding? You just got a notification that I was live? I mean, I guess it's, better late than never, but come on, YouTube.
Pile.
One of them spotted the remains and immediately held back from digging any further till authorities were notified.
Now, we've been following Rosa's story closely. We first spoke with her husband just days after the flooding. He says he last heard from Rosa when she was inside Impact Plastics on September 27. Rosa was a mother of 2, and crews say this news of her recovery comes as a relief for loved ones and workers.
Even though it wasn't personally family, but we treat it as if it's our own family that we're looking for, and it is a relief to finally locate the last missing person.
Although all missing bodies from Unicoi County are now recovered, search and rescue efforts continues, and crews are working with agencies from North Carolina as they continue to search for missing people there. And Tosha is investigating Impact Plastics and what happened on the day of the flooding. We requested a public records request of the investigation. Tosha is not releasing any information regarding the incident as it's ongoing. A spokesperson for Tosha says when the investigation is final, the report will be available for the public to see. In a statement, the lawyer for Impact Plastics say the company is grieving over the wonderful people who were lost in the flood, and they're working with agencies on the investigation. Katie.
Maria, thank you. And you can also go online to learn more about Rosa's story and the other Impact Plastics employees.
So, as sad as that was, I'm glad that they were able to locate Rosa. And I was looking for an update as that was playing. I was looking for an update in regards to the investigation, which they did say, they're not releasing their findings yet. But once they do, the report will be available for the public. But I am, curious as to what they find, because for those of you who haven't seen my live in regards to Impact Plastics, I definitely recommend you go watch it, because there's a lot of things that I feel the company failed to do, and one of them being protecting their employees and allowing them sufficient time to get to safety. Gerald, I don't remember his last name. Gerald, gosh, hang on a second. Impact, let me just look up. Gerald O'Connor. Gerald O'Connor is the CEO, and he did put out a statement, which I definitely believe was, it was politically correct, so to speak. But I do think that right, Esther, why did they have to wait? Yeah. Yep, because we wouldn't let them leave. I know, Karma. I agree. So I did find this at the same time that Rosa was found. They did find another person. So another family hopefully will be able to start the grieving process. And this was from yesterday, November 4th. So it says authorities confirmed that 2 bodies were found last week in Unicoi County. On Wednesday, the body of 29-year-old Rosa Maria Andrade Reynoso was found in a debris field near Interstate 26 by a contractor. Reynoso was the last Impact Plastics employee listed as missing after floodwaters from Hurricane Helene rushed through the area. The TBI and OSHA are continuing to investigate what took place at the Impact Plastics plant on the day the hurricane hit, leaving 6 people dead. In addition to Reynosa, Monica Hernandez, Bertha Mendoza, Johnny Peterson, Lydia Verdugo, and Sabrina Barnett died after allegedly being forced to stay at work until conditions were too bad for them to make it out safely. And allegedly being forced to stay at work, but what I will say is that it was too bad for them to make it out to safety. It is clear with the videos taken from people of the parking lot. At that point, they should have been allowed to leave. And for Gerald to say that they were given at least 45 minutes to leave to get to safety, not true. It is not true. And that's just based on, the videos taken by employees, pictures that were sent to the family of one of the supervisors who sadly did not make it. I don't believe it. Hey, Tennessee. Oh my gosh, that's terrible. Definitely email me. I'll check it out. Right, Healing Time. They blame the hurricane. And Gerald also said in his statement, actually, let me see if I can find his statement. Because, Daily Beast is, all right, I don't really agree with the Daily Beast, but they kind of, their headline, actually, let's take a look at this because it does have factual information. So I like their headline. CEO snuck out and survived during Helene as workers died. Suit, which that is true. One of the families has filed a wrongful death lawsuit against the company. Oh, thanks, Sinner. Member for 15 months. So it says a lawsuit claims workers weren't allowed to leave during Hurricane Helene flooding, while CEO Gerald O'Connor, quote, stealthily exited. And I don't believe for a second that Jerry and the other supervisors or upper management made sure that the employees were all out safely, because we also saw the video of the workers hanging on for dear life to tubing on the back of a semi. And sadly, that trailer ended up flipping, and that's how those people were washed away. Thankfully, many of them were rescued, but sadly, 6 of them weren't. So I tend to think that, Jerry has a lot of explaining to do, because this was the scene. This was the scene taken. They didn't have enough time. A Tennessee company and its CEO are being sued by the family of a worker who was killed after the factory stayed open in devastating flooding conditions during Hurricane Helene. The lawsuit, filed by the family of Impact Plastics employee Johnny Peterson, said that the factory denied requests by workers to leave and insisted they stay, quote, to meet order deadlines, end quote, despite flash flood warnings and other businesses shutting their doors. And at some time, I believe it was a little bit after, maybe it was during the video, I'd have to go back and look, but they had lost power several hours prior to when the employees were actually, quote, allowed to leave. So I'm not sure what deadlines they could have met not having power, but, that's a question I can't answer. The suit called the deaths of 6 workers that occurred due to the September 27th flood in Irwin entirely preventable. The lawsuit alleges that after factory workers were trapped and feared for their lives, while senior management, including CEO Gerald O'Connor, quote, stealthily exited the building out of the back door, end quote. Workers then assumed they could leave work too, with the suit claiming that the company had no required safety plan. And they didn't mention, they also, before Gerald and friends exited out the back of the building, they also were able to grab important files. Forget the employees. They were able to get important files. And another thing that I don't know if they say it in here, in Gerald's statement, he had said that none of the Impact employees perished on Impact Plastics property. Who says that? Does it matter where they lost their lives? No. It matters that they didn't have time to save themselves. And Johnny, who was in contact with his daughter, had said they were trapped. He had to find a way for them to get out. So, I mean, Jerry's in damage control, in my opinion. During this time, Peterson continued to text his family members, messaging his daughter at around 11:45 a.m. that he, quote, can't get out. Okay, so I was just saying that. The video of the parking lot, I believe, was around 10:45 a.m. Maybe it was 10:20 a.m. I know there was two different things, but it was around 10:30. So this is about an hour later. So the parking lot has several feet of water. According to some employees, they were told if they didn't want their cars to get damaged, they needed to move their cars to higher ground. This company failed. They failed. As the water rose, other Impact plastic workers got into a pickup truck and waited to be rescued. Peterson got onto a semi-trailer off the company's property as vehicles were submerged and moving, telephone poles fell, and the building's walls began to cave in. As water began to fill the back of the truck, workers began to be swept away, and Peterson texted his daughter saying, "I love you all." The last text Peterson sent was in response to his dad asking if he was okay. He replied, quote, "Not for long." He was then swept away and drowned. According to the suit, 11 workers from Impact Plastics were swept away in floodwaters, and 6 are confirmed to have perished. Stephen Ross Johnson, the attorney of Gerald O'Connor, was not immediately available for comment. O'Connor released a video earlier this month, starting out by saying that he and his family were receiving death threats. Following that day, I ordered immediate review of the events and timeline of what occurred that morning, said O'Connor, reading from a paper. He said the preliminary review showed that employees were told to leave the plant at least 45 minutes before the, quote, gigantic force of the flood hit the industrial park. O'Connor then said that no one was told they would be fired if they left. Maybe they weren't told, but it was probably implied. To our knowledge, no one perished. Oh, I just said that. Okay, so I didn't say it verbatim, but to our knowledge, no one perished while on company property. Again, why does that matter, Jerry? Why does that matter? In a statement to Knox News, Jack Lawson, the family's lawyer, said Impact Plastics was aware of the flood risks, and while employees requested permission to leave, the company failed to act. We will hold them accountable. He also said that Peterson died a hero trying to save others off the truck. And the semi-driver, God bless him, he actually had to also exit his cab because it was tipping. What was her name? Oh my gosh. One of the victims, he had her, and when his truck started, stuff started, debris, something hit him in the head and he was knocked out for a moment and he lost his grip on this woman, and he blames himself for her perishing, because if he had been, if he hadn't passed out, maybe she would still be alive. And there is a video, I believe I showed it on one of my lives about impact plastics. So I don't believe a word, based on the video evidence, I don't believe a word that Jerry says. Not at all. Not at all. I don't know, 45 minutes seems like cutting it close, seeing as no one can predict nature. And I don't think it was 45 minutes. Maybe it was. And by that time, there was probably feet of water inside the plant. But based on the photos that Johnny sent to his family, that was at what time did it say? 1:20. Did it say? No, it didn't say. I believe it was around 1:20-ish, if I remember correctly. I could be a little bit off, but I know it was after 1 p.m. It says he also said that Peterson died a hero trying to save others off the truck. I agree with that. Tennessee OSHA and the State Bureau of Investigation are now investigating the company. Oh, and that was it. So definitely check out my live that I did on impact plastics, because that is a story that I will continue following. Because that company needs to be held accountable. And the other thing that Gerald had said, he brought up, they will rebuild. They will rebuild. I think that's the least of his worries right now. Just saying. Just saying. Yeah, that's true too, Remy. Let me just go back to chat quick, because there's a lot of good comments here I missed while I was reading. Jerry needs his butt kicked. I agree. Yeah, Remy, that's what they're being told, is that they were told they couldn't leave, that they would. One of the survivors had said that they were told that management would update them, like they would be given updates as the day went. But once they lost power, well, I don't think people should have worked at all. Based on, the forecast, but they went to work. Once the parking lot started flooding, once they lost power, that's when I would have said, as if I was a supervisor, or Jerry's the CEO, he can do whatever he wants. If I was Gerald, I would have said, everybody go home. Be safe. Production can wait. Because did it matter in the end? He lost his entire plant. So it didn't matter at all. Like, they need to meet deadlines. Well, guess what, Gerald? Your deadlines are crap. They mean nothing now. And 6 people lost their lives. It makes me so mad. So mad. And I didn't even know these people. But knowing what I know, they should have never have been swept down that river, ever. They may have covered their butts by giving a choice, leave and lose your job, or stay and keep your job. Right. And we had that discussion before, too. I don't know what I would do. I'm thankful, I'm blessed. I have a great family. I have, there was a time, this was years ago, decades ago. There was a job that I did the right thing and ended up getting backlash from my fellow employees. And I said, you know what? I'm done. I'm not going to endure this anymore. So I turned in my keys and never went back. I was scared to death because now I have no job. I was working 60 to 70 hours a week. And they paid overtime, double time. What was I going to do? Thankfully, my parents are like, you can stay here, but you better find another job. A lot of people don't have that. So if I was in a situation where I didn't have my family close by, I probably would have stayed. Yeah, where's Jerry? All comfy. Hey, Healing Time. My home got flooded 2 years ago. I was able to be prepared. These peeps got taken before they were warned. Yeah. And I believe the woman, I don't know if it was the woman who took the video of the parking lot, or there was a man who was in the pickup truck that ended up being rescued. They had said they were getting alerts on their phones saying, seek shelter or flash flood warning, things like that. And the company still didn't do anything. Yes, Jerry, I'm sorry, Gerald. Hey, Jerry, I'm glad you're here. My bad. I forgot. It's been a little while, but yes, Mr. O'Connor. Hey, Shelly, babes. So we started talking. So the live started with the terrifying crash on I-96 just outside of Lansing, Michigan, where 4 people were killed, 21 injured. And then we just changed gears to the impact plastics in Irwin, Tennessee, where 6 employees lost their lives because, in my opinion, the CEO, Gerald O'Connor, failed to protect his employees. He failed to allow them to leave in a reasonable amount of time to get to safety. Would they have been safe where they were at? Maybe not, but they wouldn't have been in floodwaters outside their place of employment. And now we're going to change gears a little bit again with this next story. Oh no, Pookie. TMI. Hey, Tennessee gal, there was a car show here where I live, and a car hit and killed 27 people, and he got charged with... Oh my God, how long ago was that? That is awful. That is awful. And this actually, that's a good segue, because this story, I looked to see if there was any updates. There are not any updates on the said driver or those who were injured. But this was a street takeover in California, and this Dodge Charger crashed into a group of spectators. Now, I have some thoughts that I will hold until after the video, just based on the spectators' behaviors. And I do want to do a trigger warning. This could be distressing to some viewers. There's not anything highly graphic, but it could be stressful.
Oh no!
On to other news now. Chilling video of a dangerous street takeover that sends two teens to the hospital in Anaheim. It is circulating on social media and is part of the...
And I didn't notice this the first time I watched it, but a lot of the people go rushing toward to be like, no, no, right? But then I see people are just videotaping, which this is, today's society. Document everything, save your ass. SYA, as we say, or CYA, cover your ass. But I mean, I don't get it.
Police investigation. The video captures the moment a black Dodge Charger loses.
And this was streamed, I believe, on Facebook. This was streamed on Facebook.
Control and crashes into a group of spectators, apparently pinning several people and angering the crowd.
Orange County reporter David Gonzalez shows us that the search is still on for that driver.
And so again, if you need to take a break, please do so. It is graphic in nature, so viewer discretion advised.
It's absolutely unsafe and unacceptable behavior.
This video posted on social media is at the center of an Anaheim police investigation following a dangerous street takeover early Friday morning. The clip captures the moment the driver of a black Dodge Charger loses control and crashes into a group of spectators, possibly pinning several people under the car.
When our officers got here, nobody was found under the vehicle. However, there were two.
Okay, that's great that no one was under the vehicle because, I mean, that guy lost control, but he kept going. And he ran away.
Two 19-year-old males that were suffering from major injuries laying in the middle of the street.
The video then shows the angry mob surround the car as some people jump.
Right. So this is where I started saying, why are they on the car? If they believed that people were pinned under the car, why the heck would you get on the car and start kicking it and pounding on it? Why would you not take the car, at least try, and make sure no one was under it? Thankfully, no one was. But, I mean...
Jump on it. The driver fled the scene on foot. Anaheim police says multiple cars and hundreds of people took over the intersection of State College Boulevard and Orangewood Avenue. Drivers performed stunts as the crowd set off fireworks.
I was concerned because I thought I heard explosions.
Residents who live near the intersection say this kind of illegal activity puts them on edge.
We don't have intersections like that where I live. Nope. That is a huge intersection.
This is not the first time it happened. It happened before. And then when the police shows up, they just scatter.
Anaheim police says addressing street takeovers has its challenges.
It used to be where this was done over social media with open source pages. Now they're using WhatsApp and other type of social media applications to contact people to identify where these locations of these incidents are going to happen.
The teens who were ran over are listed as stable. The driver who ran away could face serious charges, including felony hit and run. Anaheim police says videos from this morning's takeover will be crucial in their investigation. So they're asking anyone who is here and has videos of the takeover to please come forward.
Oh, and actually, I'm glad I looked for an update. Hit and run suspect arrested for hit and run crash. All right, so we're going to take a look at this video. We'll just wait for this ad to play. We call these sideshows in Oakland.
Only on Verizon.
Anaheim police have made an arrest in a hit-and-run crash that happened during a street takeover.
Assignment editor Mike Rogers is at the desk with more. Mike, what do we know about the suspect?
Yeah, Amy and Juan, they took a 20-year-old Torrance man into custody. This was that sideshow street takeover, rather, that we showed you about. I want to show you his mugshot here, the person that they arrested. The Anaheim Police Department says that they were able to take him into custody and get this person off the streets. They have charged him with felony hit and run, as well as participating in this sideshow. Now, what we told you about this was that the suspect allegedly was driving the car here when two people got trapped underneath of the car, seriously injuring those two people. That's what the Anaheim Police Department says they were.
Allegedly, I mean, granted, we didn't see the guy get out of the car. I'm sure someone has it on video, but it's clear that's what he did.
Responded to. The driver of the Charger, who we now know is that 20-year-old, left the scene, but his car was still there, which was part of the reason they were able to do this, and in part also because of the amount of video that is always happening at these street takeovers. He was ultimately arrested yesterday without incident, and again booked for felony hit and run and felony what they call exhibition of speed, which is essentially street racing. He is now facing those charges and in the custody of the Anaheim Police Department.
All right, well, there we go. He has been arrested.
Whether that be.
All right, we're not doing that. Nope. Not today, CBS. Not today. All right. So this next story, I actually had seen, and then Pookie had sent it to me through email. So this is one of the stories that I had meant to get to last week, but we ran out of time. And this one happened in early October. So it's been just about a month. A deputy saw this SUV on the tracks and was able to rescue a child from an oncoming train. Yeah, not today, Satan. Yeah, not today. Not today.
A hero's tale we are hearing from an off-duty deputy who risked his life to save a child stuck on the train tracks. It happened in Redlands, and it was all caught on cell phone video. And only on KCAL News, the man who ran in front of a moving train, speaking with our Joy Benedict.
It was a split-second decision to run in front of a moving train.
I knew there was something going on and something needed to be done fast.
A choice made by San Bernardino County Sheriff's Deputy Michael Castaneda on this rural road in Redlands. The reason? What you see him pick up in this cell phone video is a child.
As soon as she put that child down, I heard the horn, and to me that was a...
Wait, why? Wait, hold on. Because the first question I said, where's the driver? And then the deputy just said, when I saw her put the child down. That tells me that whoever was driving the car did it on purpose? I need to listen to that again.
Cell phone video is a child.
As soon as she put that child down, I heard the horn, and to me that was like a start of a race, and that's when I just started running to get that kid out of there.
This is the railroad crossing at Live Oak Canyon and San Timoteo. You can see it's just 2 lanes. At the other side of the crossing, a stop sign. And on this September day, Castaneda says he was behind the car on the tracks when the gate started closing.
It started a process really quick in my head what was going on, especially when I seen that car try to maneuver out of the way and end up getting stuck in the gravel.
The driver now stuck, but instead of running away from the moving train, he says she went back into the car.
At that moment, it dawned on me really quick. There was probably a kid back there or another passenger in the vehicle, and that train is getting really close.
The mother put the child down on the ground and climbed back into the car for a second child.
Time slowed down, but it was
Okay. See, news people, you need to do a better job, because you should have said that at the beginning. The reason she put the first child down is because she went back into the car to get a second child. The way they explained it was that she put the child down and then got back in the car. Like, say that she went to get another child to begin with. Good Lord.
It was seconds.
That's when the video starts. Castaneda picking up the child on the ground and running. Then watch the mother run in the opposite direction, cradling the second child.
I think it was just the perfect time for me to be somewhere.
Castaneda was off duty at the time, heading home from work. But as a former Marine and current deputy, he says he didn't question what to do.
What I do for my job, what I've done in the past is just to help people.
We toss the word hero around. Do you think you're a hero?
No, it's just everything. It's just a thing I do on a daily basis.
And as thankful as everyone is that this story ended the way that it did, it also must be a reminder that you should never attempt to cross a train track unless you know you can safely make it to the other side.
When there's no room on the other side of the tracks, don't start proceeding over the tracks.
For when seconds count and choices are made, it's easy to see how
because we can see, I mean, this guy, he's on the track. Who's to say? I mean, there's not a train there now, but you know, what if he wouldn't be able to turn or get over the track in time? I mean, I guess that's why, you know, in my little dinky town, we have something like this where the train tracks is very close to a street light. Well, they now have put a second street light on the other side of the tracks. So you have to stop before the tracks before you can go, you know, until it's safe to do so.
The track.
For when seconds count and choices are made, it's easy to see how this could have ended differently had there not been a humble hero willing to risk his life waiting in line behind the gate. Joy Benedict, KCAL News.
You know, right place, right time, because he happened to be observant. He happened to be, you know, a police officer. Maybe there would have been someone else behind her that would have helped. Like, oh my God, like this car is going to get hit by this train. You know, thankfully all of them are okay physically. I mean, I'm sure mentally, there's got to be some trauma there because that was close. Oh, the cats don't like it when I call my town dinky. Well, it is. It's like rinky dink, right? Is that what they say? Rinky dink? Yes, don't play with trains. Don't play with trains. So the last story I have for us is about a dog. It's a dog who was able to track down a sheriff's deputy to help his owner had fallen down. This man had fallen down, and the dog went and got help for his owner. So this is what we're going to end with today. Just a feel-good story. Hey, Sunnyside, thanks for being here.
To the hero dog who saved its owner after a fall, flagging down a deputy for help. George, you say animals can't talk. Apparently, yes, they can. And Lara is here now with the incredible story. Good morning, Lara.
We will debate that later. We want to talk first about this. It may be cliche, but in this case, it is true. This dog was man's best friend, racing to find help for her human, who very likely would have died had it not been for this faithful pup.
That's a good puppy. You're a hero. You know that.
This morning, an 84-year-old Washington man thankful to be alive after being rescued by his dog.
Boy, you got a pretty good dog, I'll tell you that.
Keith Johnson was letting his 13-year-old dog Gita outside when he says something just felt off.
I got disoriented and dizzy, and I fell over, and that's when I knocked my hip out of joint and cracked it.
Johnson was completely immobile for several hours with Gita by his side when he asked his dog to go find help. Moments later, Deputy Sheriff Colton Wright driving by, seeing a lone Gita on the side of the road. When he tried to get the dog in his car, he says she refused.
She had pulled away from me. So I got out and was trying to urge her to continue on. And she just stood up and looked at me and looked at the road or the driveway and looked back at me.
The deputy sheriff quickly picking up Gita's signals and sprinting into action, finding Johnson on the ground.
That's your dog right there, right?
That is.
Yeah, that's a good dog, man. I tell you that.
Yep, she is. She's my best friend.
Keith taken to a hospital, undergoing surgery, and now recovering at a rehabilitation center, all thanks to his Gita.
I get choked up thinking about her. She knew what she was doing. I tell her I love her every time I talk to her.
We love this story. In addition to his ever loyal Gita, Keith gained a new friend during this ordeal. Deputy Wright saying the two are in contact every single day, and he expects they will remain loyal friends after Keith makes his full recovery.
Great story.
Yes,
Incredible
Yeah,
story.
I just want to be clear. My dogs can't talk. Just nobody else's.
Your
That's what-
dog. Just make me feel good. They communicate in different ways
So many times, George. They can communicate.
without words in this case, but the message got across.
Another time.
Okay.
So there we go. So sweet. Such a sweet story. Sweet Gita. You know, she's truly is man's best friend. As cliche as that is. Such a good dog. Yeah, Shelly Babes, you know, back to Impact Plastics. What they did is it's so angering to me. And, you know, Gerald just, you know, deflecting, you know, making, you know, I don't doubt that his family might be getting threats. And that's not okay. That's not okay at all. I just feel like, you know, when he made that statement, it should have been about those who were still, because at that time, 6 of his employees were missing. And he didn't really talk about them very much. And that's what it should have been about. So, yeah, super sweet. So cute. Yeah, they talk. You just got to listen. Yep, sure do. Cats can talk too. I've seen them. Yes, they can. Yes, they can. They can also give you the look, right? They can just look at you like, lady, not today. Not today, lady. Speaking of kitties, I still have my 3 fosters, Eichel, Aura, and Mama Cat. And Mommy Cat, actually, I've had them, actually, it'll be a year in April. So I've had them about 6 months now, which is quite long to have a foster. But the Mommy Cat is now coming out. Every time I go in the room, she comes out. She'll sit on her cat tree. She'll come sniff me. Although this morning I went in, she came out and I'm like, hey, Mama. And I went to let her sniff my palm and she swatted me. I was like, that wasn't very nice. Like, I'm trying to give you a treat and you're hitting me. And then I just have, you know, for those of you who came in a little late, I did rescue a very pregnant cat. I aged her at about a year, maybe a little bit older than a year. And this is definitely at least her second litter, because I had mentioned over the summer, I had these kittens show up on my porch. Just one day they were on my porch and I never saw them again. That was the mommy. So I was like, I'm going to get her. So now she is safe with another foster. I'll share some pictures of her with her new foster. I believe she's going to have 7 babies just based on, I mean, her belly was like a bowling ball. So I think she's going to have her babies this week. So I'm so glad I was able to get her before the cold weather, even though it was 76 degrees here in New York, 76 degrees on November 5th. And tomorrow's supposed to be even warmer. This weather is crazy. This weather is crazy. Oh, thanks, Esther. Casper talks to you all the time, AMAC. Yeah, my Team Brittany, as opposed to a little bit pregnant. Well, I mean, I thought I call her Fuzz Bucket. I thought it was a boy. I thought that it was a boy. And I would say, oh, there's Fuzz Bucket. And I just thought he was you know, the first time I thought he was just chubby because I feed the ferals outside. And then Fuzzbucket ended up by my porch with kittens. So I'm like, well, Fuzzy's not a boy. So thankfully she came back. I mean, I'll post pictures of her. Like she isn't a huge cat, and I think her belly was bigger than she is. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I didn't get that close, Team Brittany. I couldn't see the tummy moving. But she was good. She, she traveled well in the car, even though, she had to be terrified, especially being in a trap and, not ever being in a car. But now there's a tortie cat showed up maybe a week or so ago, and she is gorgeous. So I'm like, I saw her the other day. I'm like, you're next, girlfriend. You're next, because if she's not pregnant now, she will be soon, and she definitely doesn't need to be on the street. So I have Team Brittany, I couldn't get that close. Like she was like hissing, spitting. One of my friends who works with another rescue actually took her to the other foster, and I mean, she was not happy with us. No, she was not. Yep. Hey, Patty. So I'll definitely post pictures of her. I don't know what her name is. I guess it's not going to be Fuzzbucket, but she's such a pretty girl, and definitely we'll share pictures of the babies when she has them. Emmy's Love Shack. Team Brittany, you kid, but I have a sign. I got it off Amazon, and I wish I do have a foster page on Instagram, but I don't know if I want to share it. But I did find a sign on Amazon that says Homeward. Is it? No. Wayward Home for Peculiar Cats or something like that. Wayward? Yeah, something Wayward Cats. I'll take a picture of it and post it. But I have that hanging up outside. So, yeah. I know, Pook. Listen, I love torties, and when I saw her, I'm like, oh my gosh. It's a tortie. Torties, calicos, but I do have Lucy. Lucy and Meanie are not calico or torties. So I like my tigers too. But thanks everybody for being here. I do appreciate it. Let's see if I missed anything else. I'm talking about my cats here. I know, Glow, and I do appreciate you sending me cat videos, and I send you some every so often. I don't get on TikTok all that much unless my sister sends me a video, and then I'll or if I'm posting a video. But there's some really cute cat videos out there. Pookie says, I have a rescue that's been here like 4 years. She's still not friendly with the others. Yeah, I have one. Well, I have one. Her name is Flower. And she was with me for maybe 2 years as a foster. And she made friends with Meanie and Birdie. And so I adopted her out, and she hid. I don't think the people were the best people, to be honest. So I took her back, and her and Meanie and Birdie are like besties, but I rarely see Flower because she's not fond of humans. So I see her every so often, but she still won't let me touch her. And Meanie, who I've had now for 7 years, she still hisses at me. It's like, lady, I'm not going to hurt you. You've been in my house for 7 years. But, oh well. Aw, that's sweet. I have 4 grandcats. My daughter adopted 2 senior cats. I love senior cats. I haven't, now I'm at the point where I just think it's a little too much work to have the geriatric cats. But I did rescue several from New York City, and they were some of the best cats I've had. Loyal. And it was tough though, because when they're older, they're around the same age, they tend to pass away close together. And I lost 4 in as many months a couple of years ago, and I can't emotionally. I don't think I can do it anymore. And like all of my cats now, they're all around 7 or 8 years old. So I'm going to go through the same thing. It's just sad, but I wouldn't change it because I love them. Aw, thanks, Esther. I appreciate that. Which one just walks in? That would be Flower. That would be Flower. I see her once or twice a week. Or one way I know I'll see Flower is if I open the attic door. If I open the attic door to get like a garbage bag or more paper towels, Flower is like right there watching, like, ooh, the door is open. And I'm like, nope, nobody's going up there. Sorry. Yeah, some cats just, they just are never become socialized. But then others, Lucy was pregnant when I got her, and she's going to be, I've had Lucy 9 years now. She's going to be 10. And she was pregnant when I got her. Her and her sister were both pregnant. I didn't realize her sister was pregnant. But I had 2 cats and 9 babies a week later. And Lucy took a little while, but Lucy's my bestie now. So, it all depends, I think, on the cat. Cats automatically get the what the F badge. Yeah, they do. It's Lucie. So Lucy, Lucie. And her sister was Silva, Silva. And that was by accident. My mom wanted to name her Silver, but autocorrect made it Silva. And I liked Silva better than Silver. So her name became Silva. And then Meanie, Meanie. Meanie is Meanie because she's mean. She still hisses at me. And she has a stank face. She has a resting bish face. Meanie does. So Winnie just runs and hides. Winnie's so sweet. Beautiful cat. All right, y'all. I could talk about kitties all night, but I need to go get ready for work and I need to eat some food. But I do appreciate everyone being here. If you haven't hit the like button, please do so. If you are watching the replay, #replay. And tomorrow we will be live for Wordsy Wednesday, which we did not do last week either because, as I said at the start of this, I took a week off and was able to kind of just reset, do some things I have been putting off. And it's nice to be back, though. So I hope everyone has a great rest of your night. And if I don't see you on these YouTube streets, I will see you on the flip side.
Let it take me to that place now. I won't ever let my thoughts get away now. I got better things to do, picking fate now. I just wanna be the best, call me great now. I don't know if I'm okay or insane now. I remember better days on the playground, hoping I can find my way. Even when I'm feeling down, I fight. Even when I don't know what is right, I'ma pick a side and I'ma take pride. I will decide my fate and I will never let them tell me who I am. If you try to shake me, I'll be damned. Planet on the ground is where I stand. Never give up, that was always the plan. It's so cold outside. I'm alone, I'm alright. It's so cold outside. I'm alone.